Yes, it pays to have good credit.
You would always want to be on the side of having good credit.
Do you think it pays to have good credit? Welcome to the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, where we talk about credit scores, business, finances, and take calls to answer all questions related to those topics. To call in, call 225-243-9700 and press option 1 to join in. What to do if you have bad credit? Okay. Coming from somebody who owns a credit repair company, I am going to break things down in a honest manner. Okay. Let's just take me owning a credit repair company out of here because that's going to be completely unrelated to this episode. So let's use myself for example. Okay. If I had bad credit, the very first thing that I would do is look at the ratio between good accounts and bad accounts. Okay. What I mean by that, I'm going to look at my credit report and see how many negative accounts I have that has late payments attached to them or any type of collection account. Okay. And then I'm also going to count how many positive accounts I have. That means accounts that have 100% payment history, never been late, it's not charged off, it's either been paid in full or you're still paying on it. It's just positive. It's not a negative account. The goal with your ratio here, with your credit report, the goal is to have like 2 to 3 times more positive accounts than negative accounts. So let's say if I have 20 positive accounts that I never missed a payment on, and I have 3 negative accounts, then 9 times out of 10, my credit history alone may overweigh those 3 little negatives that's on my credit report. So it may not be a time for me to stress about having bad credit because 9 times out of 10, my scores are still going to be good based on that ratio. Okay, so let's go even deeper than that. Let's say if my scores were in the 500s and I have negative items reporting to my credit report, the very first thing I would do is look at things that I can do myself for free. Take action within myself and accountability. Understand that you did this to your credit as far as missed payments, had collection accounts added to your credit, all of that nonsense. Take responsibility and understand that, this is caused by you. Next, analyze things. Let's look at your credit card utilization. If your credit cards are maxed out, they're over 30% utilization. Even at 30% utilization, that's still holding back a good 20-30 points. But let's say if your credit cards are maxed out, work on paying those down because that right there can probably increase your credit score 50, 60, 80 points if your credit cards are close to being maxed out. I've seen people credit scores drop 200 points just because their credit cards were over the limit or maxed out completely. So look at your credit card utilization. Okay. So once you counted your accounts and you looked at your credit card utilization, let's just say credit cards are paid in full. You have no other way to increase your credit score. Okay. Let's say if that ratio between good accounts and bad accounts were bad. Let's say you have more negative accounts than positive accounts. Clearly, we need to work on getting those negatives removed. But check this out. Now you want to focus on adding positive accounts, credit builder accounts like secured accounts, secure credit cards. You can get these little credit builder loan accounts like the Self Lender, Credit Strong. What's another one? Kovo, I believe is the name of it. There's a few more that's on there. I think it's called like Extra Card or something like that. But all of these are secured accounts to where it's pretty much cheap for you to apply for. It's almost free. And it builds your credit history and add trade lines or add lines of credit to your credit report. So that way you can somewhat match the amount of negative accounts you have or get 2 times or double the amount of negative that you have that's in a positive rating. So once you do that, okay, you want to look at your negative accounts. If they're collection accounts, this is what you do. Contact those debt collectors. See if they will accept a pay for deletion agreement, which means you agree to pay the collection account if they're willing to delete that information from your credit report. If they agree, make sure to get that letter in writing in your email, so if they don't remove it, you can just send that to the credit bureaus. Okay, let's say if there's late payments on your credit report, you can request a goodwill or send a goodwill request to the creditor that those late payments are through, and just politely explain to them what happened. You went through financial hardships. You understand how late payments affect you. You understand that they must report accurate information. You get all of that. You're just asking them to do you a favor. And sometimes those creditors may work with you and remove those late payments. So that right there are two options you can do when it comes to credit repair. Now, of course, the pay for deletion and the goodwill request for late payments is probably a 10% chance of happening. But after that, your next step is to look into the credit repair option. Regardless if you hire a credit repair service or do credit repair yourself, credit repair is going to be the next step regardless of what you do. Because without you doing credit repair, those negative accounts are going to affect your credit for 7 years. Regardless of what you do, you can still be denied for things because those negative accounts are still reporting to your credit. So now it's time to look into credit repair. And the very first thing you do with credit repair is decide, do I have time to do this myself, or is it worth me paying and hiring a service to do it for me? That's the very first thing you need to ask yourself. If you have the time to do it, you need to learn how to do it. That also takes time. You can't just go online and click some dispute button. That doesn't do crap. You have to request verification, validate the verification, look at any type of incomplete accounts. Your credit reports changes every single month. So what was verified last month or what was not an error last month can be totally different on this month's credit report. So credit repair is a very time-consuming process, and there's always something different every single month. If you don't have the time to do this and you know you're going to drag your feet, you work 24/7, the dispute responses come in, you don't have time to respond, hire a service. They can just do it for you. Most of the time, a credit repair service will give you a free trial and charge you a small monthly fee. There's also companies that's out there you pay for each item that was deleted, but they're probably going to charge you more money. So I always like the whole flat pay or flat rate pay, to where you pay as you go. If you don't like it, you can cancel. You love it, you just keep paying. But yeah, credit repair is the next step. If credit repair helps your situation, you don't need to wait 7 years for you to get good credit again. Or if credit repair doesn't quite help your situation, because it's not a guarantee, it's just an attempt to work on the negative items in hopes to find ways to get those removed. And if it doesn't work in your favor, guess what? Now you need to just continue building credit. Apply for any of these secure accounts. Let's say if the creditors and the debt collection companies didn't agree to remove the items, then it's not the end of the world. You still have to keep building credit. You may have to wait that full 7 years for those negative items to fall off. But the point of this episode is just telling you what your options are. If you do have bad credit, you can look at what's affecting your credit card utilization. If you have late payments on there, you can send a goodwill request to the original creditor, requesting them politely or explaining what happened and letting them know you understand how this affects your credit report and yada, yada, yada. Or if it's a debt collector, then, request verification, validation, and things like that. Or request a pay for deletion agreement, and they may just remove it with a fee. So those are your options when it comes to having bad credit. And I hope this episode educated anyone who's out there that had questions on this topic. If you use credit to improve your lifestyle and would like to share your story on the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, feel free to reach out to us at info@sturgiscreditrepair.com. Sturgis is spelled STIRGUS, creditrepair.com.